Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching this video. As always, thank you for your participation. Thank you for the homework assignments. Thank you for participating in some really great discussions. I know that it is not always easy to participate in an online class. Maybe it's not as easy as some of you thought it may be, because the lack of class time, the lack of really personal interaction between all of us can sometimes make things, a little difficult. So I appreciate, all of you who have been hanging in and have been doing the work. You've been doing some really great work. I've enjoyed your written work, and the discussions have certainly been enjoyable as well. This week is week 11, so we're hitting the home stretch here in Intro to PR. And this week we are getting into chapter 9, which is about writing, which maybe when some of you signed up for Intro to PR, you thought, well, that's probably what the class is going to be all about. As I mentioned when we started, this is an intro, this is an overview to the business as a whole, and writing is certainly a part of it. And you certainly are at an advantage. If you are a competent writer, the better the writer you are, the more you may succeed in the business. But at the same time, I do want to say that if you don't think you're the best writer in the world, first of all, you might be pretty good. No one's just, taking the time to tell you that, or taking the time to, spend a little time with you and, help you improve your skills. But, given the emphasis on social media now, and given the emphasis as part of social media on video and graphics and a variety of things, there is also a need in the business now for people on the techie side, for people who know how to work a camera, for people who understand graphics, who can do editing. So maybe if you feel like you're not the best writer in the world, but you're interested in public relations and you do have a flair for the presentation side of things, there is an opportunity for you out there. Now, even though there's a lot of emphasis on social media, nonetheless, it's the basic press release, whether the hard news press release, the straight press release as it's called, or the feature press release, that is still the basis of everything that you do in public relations, because it's that material that provides you with the information, for your social media postings, for the company website, for the company Facebook page, the company LinkedIn page, what you happen to put out on Twitter. So even though there's an emphasis on social media, that certainly hasn't gone by the boards. The basic press release and feature release, is still the basis of, how public relations functions in this day and age. It's still what you send out to editors. If you have a story idea and you just email them, what's the first thing they're going to say? They're going to say, send me some information. What's that information going to be? Well, that information is going to be in a press release that they can work with and they can judge. And I have to tell you, as someone who's worked in the the public relations business and the media business for more years than I care to count, there's nothing like seeing the press release that you wrote used almost word for word in a local newspaper or a trade magazine, or as part of a posting on a news website, either an industry website or something from your local or area newspaper. So it's important to be able to to write the press release. It's also important to understand social media, and what I'm asking you to do this week, not only in the video that you watch, but also in a discussion exercise, is to take a look at your own social media presence. I think we're all aware that before we're hired, employers take a look at what we have out on social media. Maybe we're not as aware that sometimes before we even get a call to come in for an interview, if we are being pursued by a recruiter, for example, that they'll go out and look us up on social media and see what's out there. And we may be incredibly qualified for the job. But if there's a red flag out there that the recruiter knows that the potential employer doesn't want someone who, and you can fill in the blank in terms of, do they appear to be too much of a partier, for example. Well, if that stuff is out there on social media, you may not even get the call. When I've done this exercise in the past with other students, it's been eye-opening for at least a couple of them every semester. They go out and they look at their social media presence and usually come back and say, oh my gosh, I found a picture that I never knew was there. I never knew I was tagged in that picture. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's, very important to go out and make sure, your own social media presence is in tip-top shape. And this is a good time to go out and check. You can clean it up, even though, everything exists somewhere out on the internet. If your, social media presence is, fairly well cleaned up, if you will, you should be in good shape. And the video that I'm asking you to watch for this week has some pointers as to things that you can look for and things that you can do. So I hope you enjoy this week. I know that a test was supposed to be maybe last week or the week before. I will get it up and running. I hope you're not too disappointed that there hasn't been a test, but you're all doing great work. And quite frankly, in general, I'm not concerned about anyone's grade, but I will get the test up in order to keep things going. So once again, enjoy your week, and I look forward to speaking with you next week.